These are the 8 decorating mistakes that instantly devalue even the most expensive homes. You might have spent thousands on renovation, but if your curtains hang an inch too low, or your rug floats in the center of the room like a postage stamp, the entire space will feel unfinished. Interior design isn't about how much money you spend, it's about understanding scale, lighting, and proportion. In 2026, the shift has moved away from the stark gray showroom look toward warm, collected spaces, yet so many homeowners are still unknowingly committing errors that designers spot immediately. We are going to fix every single one of them right now, starting with the most common offender, on the floor. Nothing shrinks a room faster than a rug that is too small for the space. We call this the postage stamp effect, where a tiny rug floats in the middle of the floor, disconnected from the furniture around it. It creates a visual impression that the room is cramped and disjointed, rather than grand and cohesive. Many homeowners choose a 5x7 rug because the price tag is attractive, but that savings costs you the elegance of the entire room. When your coffee table sits alone on the rug, while your sofa and chairs rest on the bare floor, the conversation area feels temporary, almost like you're just camping out in your own living room. To fix this, you need to follow the front leg rule. In a living room, your rug should be large enough that at least the front 2 legs of every major piece of furniture sit on top of it. This visually anchors the furniture, creating a designated zone that feels intentional and expensive. For a dining room, the rule is even stricter. The rug must extend 24 inches beyond the table on all sides, ensuring that when a guest pulls out a chair, the legs don't catch on the edge. Upgrading to an 8x10 or 9x12 might cost more upfront, but it is the single most effective way to expand the perceived square footage of your home without knocking down a wall. Your windows should feel like grand architectural features, not afterthoughts. The mistake most people make is hanging their curtain rod directly on the window frame and buying standard 84-inch panels that stop awkwardly above the floor. We call these high-water curtains. And they have the same effect as wearing pants that are too short, as they make the wall look stubby and the ceiling feel oppressive. When the rod is the same width as the window, the curtains cover the glass even when open, blocking valuable natural light and making the window itself appear narrow and squinty. It is a subtle error that subconsciously signals a lack of customization. Improve the look of your room instantly by mounting your curtain rod 4 to 6 inches above the window frame, or even halfway to the ceiling molding. This trick draws the eye upward and celebrates the vertical height of the room. You should also extend the rod 10 to 12 inches past the window on either side. This allows the fabric to stack against the wall rather than the glass, flooding the space with light and making the window appear massive. Ensure the hem of the fabric just kisses the floor or hovers a half inch above it. Custom drapery relies on precise installation that respects the architecture, rather than just fabric cost. If these tips are helping you see your home in a new light, please subscribe to the channel. We break down design secrets like this every single week to help you build a home you love. The next furniture trap catches almost everyone. Walking into a furniture store and buying the entire matching set, including bed, nightstands, and dresser, is the fastest way to make your home look genetic. This showroom syndrome strips a room of personality and makes it feel like a temporary rental or a hotel suite rather than a collected home. Manufacturers sell these sets because they are easy inventory rather than examples of good design. When every wood tone is identical and every leg shape is the same, the room lacks visual tension. It becomes flat, predictable, and boring. In 2026, the era of the bedroom suite is officially over, and reliance on these prepackaged looks signals a lack of confidence. The secret to a high-end aesthetic is curation. You want to mix materials and erase to create depth. If you have a heavy wooden bed frame, pair it with lacquered nightstands or something with metal detailing. Contrast is what makes a design feel expensive. A velvet sofa might need a leather ottoman or a stone coffee table to balance the softness. It takes more time to hunt for complementary pieces than to click add to cart on a set, but the result is a space that has genuine character. Think of your furniture as a dinner party where you do not want 12 guests who all have the exact same opinion. Lighting is the invisible paint of your interior, yet so many ruin it by choosing the wrong color temperature. If your living room feels like a hospital or a cafeteria, you are likely using bulbs that are too cool, meaning anything over 4,000 Kelvin. This harsh blue-tinted light flattens colors and makes skin tones look sickly. Another fatal error is relying on a single overhead fixture to illuminate an entire room. This casts unflattering shadows down your face and leaves the corners of the room in dingy darkness, making the space feel smaller and colder than it actually is. To achieve that warm, luxurious glow, stick to bulbs between 2700K and 3000K for all living and sleeping areas. This mimics the warmth of incandescent light and makes your home feel cozy. You must also layer your light sources. Every room needs 3 layers, including ambient light from the ceiling, task light from lamps for reading or working, and accent light to highlight art or architectural details. Turn off the big overhead light in the evening and rely on 3 to 4 lamps scattered at different heights. This creates pools of light that add drama, depth, and immediate sophistication. If you have to crane your neck to admire a painting, it is hung wrong. A pervasive myth is that art should be centered on the wall, regardless of furniture, which often leaves pieces floating near the ceiling, disconnected from everything else. Another issue is scale, as hanging a tiny 8x10 frame on a massive empty wall looks apologetic and cheap. It signals that you didn't measure, or didn't want to invest in a piece that fits the space. When art floats too high or looks too small, it throws off the equilibrium of the entire room, making the ceiling feel lower and the furniture look heavy. Museums hang art so that the center of the piece is exactly 57 to 60 inches from the floor, which places it at the average human eye level. If you are hanging art above a sofa or console, forget the wall height and focus on the connection, so the bottom of the frame is just 6 to 8 inches above the furniture. This visually links the art to the piece below it and creates a cohesive look. Regarding scale, your artwork should fill about 2/3 of the width of the furniture underneath it. If your piece is too small, combine it with others by grouping smaller frames into a gallery wall to create one large, impactful shape. There is a fine line between a styled home and a cluttered one, and that line is usually crossed with too many small accessories. Covering every surface with tiny trinkets, such as figurines, small candles, and random souvenirs, makes a room feel nervous and chaotic. The eye has nowhere to rest. This visual noise cheapens the space because nothing stands out, for when everything is special, nothing is. It creates a thrift store vibe where quantity has replaced quality. A luxury home is defined as much by what isn't there as what is, and negative space is important for balance. The solution is to edit relentlessly and style using the rule of 3. Odd numbers are naturally more pleasing to the human eye and make us move our gaze around the composition. Group accessories in 3s by varying their height, shape, and texture. For example, pair a tall vertical vase with a horizontal flat stack of books and an organic sculptural object. This creates a balanced triangle that feels complete. Instead of 20 small items, choose 3 larger and impressive statement pieces. Scale up your accessories. Since a large bowl on a coffee table looks infinitely more expensive than a collection of 10 tiny coasters and candles. In 2026, we are finally seeing the end of the millennial gray era and the decline of fast fashion decor, relying heavily on mass-produced trends such as buying everything in boucle or covering your walls with word art timestamps your home immediately. When you buy the exact same decor that thousands of others have, your home loses its character. We are seeing a rejection of the stark, all-white, high-gloss look that dominated the early 2020s. These spaces often feel cold and clinical now. If your home looks exactly like a catalog page from 5 years ago, it feels impersonal and cheapened by its lack of authenticity. The move for 2026 is toward warmth, texture, and personal history. Replace the flat gray walls with warmer neutrals like beige, taupe, or soft terracotta. Instead of buying a drame from a big box store, frame a vintage map, a child's drawing, or a piece of fabric you found on a trip. Swap out the polyester pillows for linen, wool, or velvet to add tactile richness. Authentic materials like real wood, stone, and brass age beautifully, whereas faux finishes just peel and fade. Your home should reflect you, not a showroom algorithm. It is the imperfections and unique finds that make a space feel truly expensive. The final mistake is one of fear, seen when pushing every piece of furniture against the walls to create a large empty space in the middle. People believe this makes a room look bigger, but it actually highlights the lack of utility. It creates a waiting room atmosphere, where guests have to shout across the void to speak to one another. This layout reduces intimacy and leaves the center of the room empty and iced. It also emphasizes and makes you painfully aware of exactly where the walls end, which actually makes the room feel smaller. Be brave and float your furniture. Pull the sofa off the wall, even just a few inches, or bring it into the center of the room to face a focal point like a fireplace or a view. Place 2 chairs opposite the sofa to create a tight, cozy conversation circle. This allows traffic to flow around the seating area rather than through it. In a large room, this technique defines zones, such as a reading nook or a conversation area, which makes the space feel grand and functional. When furniture has space and interacts with other pieces rather than the walls, the entire home feels custom designed. A truly luxurious home isn't defined by the price tag on the furniture, but by the thoughtfulness of the arrangement. By correcting these 8 mistakes, such as scaling your rugs, layering your lighting, and curating rather than collecting, you upgrade your space from ordinary to exceptional. Design is a language, and now you have the vocabulary to use it well. If you are ready to transform more of your space, subscribe for our next detailed look into renovation secrets, and I will see you in the next video.